something I do just to give Hans anxiety. Welcome to William versus the World. Yo, one thing y'all could do to hook me up is share the feed. As soon as you see this, as soon as it comes on, share the feed. Find some groups. I don't give a fuck. Reddit, Twitter, Titter, Jitter, Google, Snapper. I don't care what you do with it. The most powerful thing that you could do for us here at the network is sharing the feed. I'm going to do the same now. I'm going to share it. Look, I'm going to share it to my timeline, right? Then I'm going to share it to two groups. I'm not spamming. Fucking SWAT team going to show up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups. That's it. See, I didn't go crazy with it. There you go. That's all I had to do. It didn't cost me any money, no subscription fees. Nobody had to draw blood. We're good. Yo, what's up? What's going on? ICG Sean's in the building. Thank you to everybody showing up. Thank you to those that are just jumping in now and sharing the feed. Welcome to another episode of William versus the World. If you are a first-time viewer, you might be wondering, what are we doing here? This is William versus the World. This is my live chat and music industry stream for DIY and independent musicians. That's what we're doing. You didn't know that? I thought you guys already knew that. This is your weekly, daily dose of music industry tips, insights, wild stories, and education. My name is William Savant. I'm the guitar player for the band Sepsis. This is our page. You might be viewing from YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. It doesn't matter. However you got here, you're here. And that's all that matters to me, and I appreciate y'all. So welcome. This is the ultimate destination for your music industry news, because all the other places are boring. And what better way to get your news and industry tips from musicians? But not just any musicians that you know, because you know me. So this is something we do every day at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, where we kind of dissect the latest trends, the controversies, the breakthroughs shaping the world of music today. We cut through the internet noise and deliver a somewhat insightful commentary about music, at least most of the time. The industry, of course, music news. We cover technology, and I also talk a little bit about social media, examining industry stories, artists, and sometimes experts. We have some interactive discussions here. You can ask Nate or Sean. They can vouch for that. Engaging with the community, that's you, in the live chat where we voice what we see on the screen. There's no right or wrong answers here. We're staying up to date on the most pressing issues affecting musicians and music lovers all over the place. This is an entertainment-based live stream, so try not to take anything too personal. Don't miss out each day, 7 p.m. Eastern, here, William versus the World, where you can find my unique yet comprehensive commentary about the music industry. Subscribe to our page here on Facebook and give us a follow and subscribe to us on Twitch or YouTube. Everybody get ready, because it's another episode of William versus the World. Hans Smith. Jesus Christ. What are you doing? I thought you had the night off, Hans. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Babylon Paladin into the chat. Well, that's quite the name. I love the name. Welcome to the chat, Hans. Welcome to the chat. Talking Straight with Nate. I wish you'd come in as M-Blog, because M-Blog is the proud presenters of this year's Bravo Fest. That's right, everybody. Yep. This will be, he said, okay. Talking Straight said he stepped away. He was telling people what to do. That's always nice. I'm just giving you shit. So anyway, today's episode, as much as you guys know, is sponsored by the amazing Matt Connerton Unleashed at WMN Manchester. Catch him Saturday mornings on his own comprehensive music programming. Matt Connerton Unleashed. That's 9 o'clock on Saturdays. Also, Speed Demon Promotions, proud sponsor of Swarmy Fest 2, 3, 4, and hopefully 5 and 6. He said, hold on, we'll get to that in a second. And our friends, Legion of Solace. NH Guitars, also a proud sponsor of Swarmy Fest 2, and our friends at BPS Records. Boy, do we have some information coming to you guys that are looking for a hell of a pre-party for November 1st, pre-party for Swarmy Fest, which is, of course, on the Saturday, November 2nd. But there's still some shows to go. We got Bravo Fest, right? And we also got Mystic Metal Fest in Connecticut. So we got some work to do, guys. We got stuff to do. Somebody in here said something about Dave Grohl. What are we talking about here? Gorgeous, refreshing to hear you mirror my exact feelings about the day of girl thing I shared with my teenager. I don't know. You have to give me some more information on that. Hopefully the star Dave Grohl. I don't know. How did you did you sit them down for some responsible parenting? Holy shit, look at who we got in here. We really got him in here tonight. The homie Malcolm, how's it going? M-Blog Official. Philip, thank you for being here. And, of course, the homie Bruce, man. What's going on, brother? Philip, you're going to have to get back to me on that. I don't know what's going on. We'll read the first story, and we'll come back to it. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know. Oh, and I guess Melissa's in here, too. Everybody say hello to Melissa. Melissa is the captain of the ship. Rob Halford thinks that the future of metal is as strong and powerful as it ever was. Look at that. I mean, just something you don't hear very often. You never. I mean, come on. If this program repulses anyone, it's optimistic people. This is not a very optimistic program. I realize that. And that's because I'm usually covering what you see on the screen. I promise you, it's not me. I'm not the creator of bad news in the rock and roll, in the music industry. I promise. And neither is Rob Halford, because look at how optimistic he is. He says the future of metal is as strong and powerful as it ever was. And this is in contradiction of everything I always say, isn't it? I'm always talking about how the music industry is in big trouble and authenticity is up for sale. And I'm always warning people that we're going off the deep end. But here is Rob disagreeing with me. What do you guys think? Talk about polarizing. Let's get into it. So, and you guys can follow along. This is Metal Sucks. I think it's a terrible blog. But there's no right or wrong answers here. We just put it up on the screen. We read it together. We follow along. And then we talk in the chat. So that's the format. If anyone knows about the life and history of heavy metal as a genre, it would be Judas Priest frontman and metal god himself, Rob Halford. Having been Judas Priest since the early 70s, the dude's seen it all. And so, of course, he'd be able to tell Audio and Radio's Ann Erickson exactly what he thinks today's metal scene, of what he thinks of today's metal scene, and why it's the best it's ever been. That's kind of cool, man. I will say this. Imagine being in the same band for years and years. It's not like as a member of Judas Priest, he was someone else. No, he was in Judas Priest, and they are living legends, and that is it. There is no you quit the band. There was no fail. There was you stepped on the scene. You told the world, I'm Judas fucking Priest. And then it stayed like that. One could only hope that they have a band half as cool, right? So what is this? Look, they got little sepsis things there. What is that? Freaking ads. So Halford was on the show to discuss the upcoming 50th anniversary release of Judas Priest's debut album, Rock and Rolla. Looking back on those early years, he reflected on his ability to witness time move forward for the metal scene. Quote, "It's great to look back and see our future unfurl. From little metal acorn, mighty metal oaks do grow. One small step for metal, one giant leap for metal kind. A lifelong metal journey began with these songs. This album lit the eternal metal flame as the real fresh as 5 decades on." I don't know if I can agree with that necessarily. I mean, it's not like these albums don't go through their fair share of remastering, is all I'm saying. Does anybody bother to look up the remastered versions of these things? They're amazing. It's completely different. Can we all just agree that Rob Halford is the official spokesperson for heavy metal? I don't know if I would agree with that either, but that's a great question. Like, sure, we've all got Metallica and Iron Maiden and all that, but Halford just so 100% about metal all the time, and he waxes poetic about the whole thing. Just let him answer every question from normies about heavy metal until he retires or shuffles off his mortal coil. So you guys can go check out the interview. But I mean, if there ever was a time, I will say, okay, to prove that there's no age. I mean, that's the coolest fucking jacket you've ever seen. There is absolutely no age limit. There is absolutely no height limit or statute of limitations for heavy metal. There is no age groups to how cool this could be. I feel like Rob Halford has definitely made his mark and made his point. I think that's why I love heavy metal, man. Keep it real. You know what's odd? I thought I had something else going in here. Are you guys, yo, what's up, Doug? What's going on? We got to play some music for Doug. As long as I don't screw everything up. There it is. Oh, shit. Yo, what's going on, Craig? How's it going? Wow, look, this is a star-studded night. Philip said, no fucking meditating. Oh, medicating. That's funny. Mblog says, actually, Neil Armstrong, quote, one step for man. So it should be one small step for metal band, one giant leap for metal kind. That's what Mblog says, everybody. Doug says, what's up? Hans says, Rob Halford is keeping it real. Doug, it's nice to have you. It's nice to have you here. Scott, what's going on, brother? Holy shit, we got a star-studded evening. Brandon's in the house. What's going on, man? Yo, I got all the brothers in the house tonight. Damn, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm always on here talking about, I just got done talking about Rob Halford, you know. I don't even know how old Rob is, but he is definitely in his heavy metal golden years. And it makes me think about the young people. We're always talking about how much we do or don't do for the kids. And I was thinking the other day how even Gen Z is getting too old for their Gen Z bullshit. I remember there were years where, you know, we looked at these children and we said, oh, it's because they're Gen Z or the Gen Zers or the millennials or the Gen Xers. And we have all these categories. And I realize with technology and language and the way that that changes over time and trends and fashion, and it goes up and down and in and out in waves. Things come, things go, things return. And with the acceleration of technology, sometimes it's hard to keep up, you know, especially like if you're a parent or whatever. So for years, because of the internet and the acceleration of information and technology, for a while, it was because, I know, for an excuse for anything, we blame the Gen Zs. But I think it's interesting now that even they're getting a little too old for the internet. The most popular social apps among Gen Z and consumers. Yes, that's right. Sometimes we do a little social media here for you folks that are following along. If this isn't your thing, I'll try to make it quick. But there are a lot of people that follow the band because of podcasting or social media, marketing, advertisement. So we try to have a little bit of diversity in the program. Anyhow, which social apps are the favorite among Gen Z? I'm covering this because I know a lot of people in rock and heavy metal have a hard time connecting with younger audiences. That's exactly why I'm reading this. The reason why I am reading this is so, you know, some of the musicians, especially if you're doing rock and heavy metal, I've been trying to drive home for quite some times, and mBlog can tell you that social media, short form video, storytelling, live chats, podcasting. I'm a gamer, so I've been doing this forever. And me and Melissa have been making a living off of streaming and advertising and marketing and entertainment for many years. But I'll tell you, it's not one-stop shopping. No pun intended. You have to wear many hats. You have to have many skills. You have to host and utilize many different skill sets, and you have to fire on full cylinder and all cylinders at most of the time. So one thing that I've been trying to drive home to even some of the young people making music. I get it. They don't want to do the social media. They don't want to interact. It's tough being a musician and writing music and recording and having a daytime job and raising kids and doing all this other stuff and trying to make time for social media and connecting with younger audiences. So I'm going to read this just in hopes that we can all learn something about how younger audiences are choosing to use social media because social media is such a strong avenue to get the word out. All right, so that's the reason why I'm reading this, even though you guys knew that already. The most popular social apps among Gen Z consumers. You probably immediately think of TikTok, right? And maybe Snapchat for messaging. But the most popular app among Gen Z is actually YouTube. You see, that's why I'm reading this, you guys. The most popular app among Gen Z is actually YouTube. It's YouTube, and it's still classified as a social app, though the focus is more clearly on content than social elements. But same could be said for short-form video platforms like TikTok that are also popular with younger audiences. But I thought many of you would be surprised to hear that YouTube was actually the most popular social app among Gen Z users. So when I'm trying to make the connection to my older musician friends on how to better their chances at connecting with younger audiences, this is why I read stuff like this. Okay, let's continue, all right? The author seems to say that it makes sense. YouTube is the cultural hub for younger audiences, with almost every Gen Z trend stemming from gaming and YouTube creators. And we're now seeing the biggest of those creators branching into whole new fields of business, with Mr. Beast and Logan Paul among the various YouTube stars that are now taking their brands to expanded commercial opportunities. Think of Mr. Beast and his headphones, direct-to-consumer products, or even Logan Paul and his sports and boxing. Okay? That's just some that come to my mind. And they're driving success. Guys, whether you like it or not, YouTube is the new TV. As we predicted, Melissa, 8 years ago, and has become far more influential than traditional TV among young consumers. To provide some scope on the relative popularity of YouTube over other youth-focused social apps, the team from Visual Capitalists have put together this simple overview of the top Gen Z apps based on data from Pew Research. Like, what the fuck is that? Did they just make these app company and developer smart-ass businesses? Do they just name them like that so they're unfun to say? You know? Pew? I just don't understand it. That's crazy. Anyway, I guess it's a matter of taste. So let's take a look here, everybody. Are you guys looking at the screen? If you're looking to reach them, this is where you go to find Gen Z's favorite social media platforms. Here's YouTube, everybody, at 93%. Instagram coming in second at 78% for Gen Z social media platforms. Younger audiences are connecting on YouTube and Instagram, and this is a shocker. Even though you would be convinced that Facebook cannot compete, coming in at third, Facebook is still a competitive way to reach Gen Z audiences. Now, you guys, this isn't a music study. This isn't a chart that's based on heavy metal. This is just how Gen Z usage applies to social platforms. But I'm hoping that this gives you a hint to what type of tools and behaviors that you can utilize over all of these platforms to leverage making connections and strengthening your chances at interacting with younger audiences. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And when we use these words, let's also try to materialize and think about the toolbox and the different behaviors and characteristics and tools and features of each of these that can be utilized. Coming in at 4 is Snapchat. And it's crazy. I know all of you thought that they'd come out swinging. But TikTok. TikTok ranks in at 5, followed by Pinterest and a sleeper. I'm always telling musicians, if you haven't found a way to market your music on the dreadful Reddit, you don't know toxic or hateful until you put your music on Reddit. If you want to know the bottom of the barrel, let me tell you something. If you put your music on Reddit, okay, you will never fear Facebook judgment ever again. If you put your art or your music or your ideas or your body parts, if you put them on Reddit, people there are so heartless and so evil and so shameless and ruthless. You could put your best music on Reddit, and there will be a group of people there that will shame you and be so destructive and hateful towards you that by the time you make it back on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, you would think it's fucking Candyland. Then Twitter comes after Reddit, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and BeReal. You guys know about that one? BeReal. That's a truly toxic environment. So this is a side note. If none of you have heard of BeReal, BeReal is a social app that tells everyone when to post. Like instead of you doing it, the app sends you a notification and tells you what to do. Imagine that. Like we don't got enough of these apps already telling us what to do as it is. But there you have it, guys. There are Gen Z's favorite social media platforms. Now jump on one and go piss off a kid. We'll get to that in a moment. Jump in there and piss off some children. Yeah. Craig says Bandcamp. For sure. Absolutely. Philip says you can't find it. You can't find what? Mblog. Lol. Someone saw our video there, and this troll made a post about it on his Gorgish. What is that? I never even heard of that. Someone saw our video there, and this troll made a post about it on Gorgish. Okay. The guy, Cypress Hill, Philip says, whatever, this is good enough, I suppose. I hope everything's working out for you, Phil. Hans says, I don't need an app to tell me what to do. That's ridiculous. That's what Hans says, everybody. Philip says, stupid algorithm keeps showing me all the shit that I have already heard from you guys. Whatever. I'm sorry that that's happening. Philip says, I have a teenager. I don't need any more children pissed off at me. Oh, man, that's funny. Doug says pissing off the kids is great. It's the best. Scott says, YouTube and Facebook is how I get my shit out. Being from the best generation, Generation X, it does help a lot. Till I wind up in Facebook jail. That seems to happen to a lot of people in our peer group. We don't know when to. We don't accept no. People tell us to calm down. We have a hard time with it. Inblog says, Jorgrish is some stupid page about gory pics. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't want to see that nasty shit. Me and Melissa were watching something on the internet today, and some old lady turned into a fucking crocodile, and I was just like, it was like some artificial thing, you know. I was like, ugh, it's just like ugly looking. It was just unnatural and bizarre. I had a girlfriend that used to love looking at people getting chopped up and all of that. And that's when I knew I was in trouble. As you can tell, fate had other circumstances for me. Anyhow, Philip says, I seen a bunch lately that feel like you're a mushroom while you're watching them. Those must be some very special mushrooms. Jay-Z has the final say on who headlines the Super Bowl halftime show. And I don't give a shit. The only reason why I chose this is because who gives a fuck about football? Now, hear me out. I love sports. I love football. I love basketball. I get it. It's meant to get your attention. What I'm saying is, in terms of being a musician, in terms of being a successful rapper or singer or country star, it's very surprising to me after all of these years that to be a big music superstar is to play at the Super Bowl. I just don't understand why playing at a football game means that you're a good guitar player. Like, okay, so your band never makes it to the Super Bowl. So fucking what? Now, I get it. Lil Wayne was mad, because he didn't get to play in the Super Bowl. But was that what gangster rappers care about? Like I don't know. It was different. Like in the 80s and 90s, gangster rappers didn't care about going to cocktail parties and being on mainstream television. I mean, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying that I think it's bizarre that lifetime practiced musicians who've been practicing their craft for years and gangster rappers are disappointed or feel like they have failed when they can't play at a fucking football game. It just goes to show you, and I'm going to tell you why, because the Super Bowl is dominated by advertising. And rappers and singers and songwriters and musicians know that millions and millions of consumers that don't even like sports tap in to the Super Bowl as a United States holiday to consume and watch the advertisements and the commercials and to go see the musical performances. I just think it's so bizarre that it's 2024 and what makes you a qualified musician to even be considered. Like, it's very bizarre to me that this is part of our musical language where you've truly made it as a musician if you play at a corporate football game. That would be like us looking at sports players and determining their talents or abilities at the Grammys. That's weird, right? Like, you're never looking at, like, man, that basketball player, he made it, man, because, he went to the VMAs. Those basketball players and those football players, this is the top. They're at the top of their game because they made it's just such a strange thing. I mean, if I was a musician, I get the prestige, I get the marketing and the business and branding opportunities. I understand these artists aren't making any money off of streams, so going to the Super Bowl, can greatly boost your streams. It can greatly increase your opportunities to make more corporate friendships. But damn, doesn't Lil Wayne have enough corporate buddies? Let's see what's going on with it. Kendrick Lamar will be taking the stage at 2025 Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show. Now it's called the Apple Music Super Bowl. Holy shit. After Lil Wayne expressed disappointment over not being chosen as next year's Super Bowl halftime performer in his hometown of New Orleans, questions were raised about how that decision was made. On Monday, September 16th, Super Bowl halftime producer Jesse Collins spoke to Variety about the subject matter and explained that Jay-Z makes the final call regarding who takes the stage at the big game. Did you guys know that? He's quoted in saying here, it's a decision that Jay-Z makes. Quote, since we've been on board with that show, he's made it every year, and it's been amazing. He's always picked right. Jay-Z and Rock Nation entered a partnership with the NFL in 2019 that tasked him with being the league's live music entertainment strategist and to assist with social justice reform initiatives. On September 7th, NFL, Apple Music, Rock Nation, and Kendrick Lamar announced that Not Like Us rapper will be performing at the 2025 Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show, February 9th, 2025 at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Speaking to the decision, Collins said Lamar will surely put on a great show. Quote, we love Wayne, he said. There's always Vegas ads on who's going to perform it. But I think we're going to do an amazing show with Kendrick, and I think everyone is going to love the halftime show. I know Kendrick is going to work exceptionally hard to deliver an amazing show. After the official announcement, the Empire State of Mind rapper 54 released a statement. Kendrick Lamar is truly once-in-a-generation artist and performer. His deep love for hip-hop and culture informs his artistic vision, he said, adding, he has unparalleled ability to define and influence culture globally. Kendrick's work transcends music, and his impact will be felt for years to come. Lamar was previously taped as a halftime performer in 2022, joining Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent for Dr. Dre's star-studded performance. So there you go. I never would have thought. Let's see how long this one is. Okay. I think we have time. No, we got time for a couple more. It's all good. How you guys doing in the chat? Sean says, damn. Craig says, was it because he had a hard knock live? Good job, bro. Good job. Sean's laughing his ass off. Philip says, my mama says I can't show if I tell. Steve says, what the fuck is social injustice? I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. Bruce, I can't vouch for them. That's what now you understand why I said, what the fuck does music have to do with the NFL? And then, and then you bring that up. That's a great question. Bruce said, so was it Jay-Z who cut to commercial 5 seconds into Ozzy during the kickoff? Oh, no more trolls. Man, I don't know. I just thought that was mind-blowing. Who would have known? Could be, says Sean. Bruce says, now you know why no more rock and roll at the halftime show. I know, it really is. Well, I tell you what. If you were going to see one heavy metal or rock and roll artist at the Super Bowl halftime show these days, who would it be? Can you guys put it in the chat? And don't put who you want it to be. Like, who could it be? Well, you could put whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. But what I'm saying is like, put whatever you want in the chat. But the question is, who is qualified for rock and heavy metal to play the Super Bowl? 3-time, look at Hans. 3-time award-winning heavy metal band Sepsis. Aww. Listen, we're not ready for that yet, but let us work on it. We got to work on our moves, Hans. Give us some time. Let Lil Wayne play the Super Bowl before Sepsis. We'll let him go first. Philip says, they're both actual live, living religions. I love them both. Heavy and metal, or rock and roll and heavy metal. Sean says, Disturbed is a band that I believe could do the halftime show. There you go. That's all I was asking. Look at that. So Sean says he thinks Disturbed could be part of the Super Bowl halftime show. Ooh, I can hear that. Yeah. I can hear it. You know what I mean? I can see the commercials, with the kickoff. Ooh, the football. Yeah. I love it. Yo, Sean, that was a good one, man. Brandon says 5-finger death punch. I ain't gonna lie. Can you guys help me out with this? How come people don't like 5-finger death punch? Do you guys like 5-finger death punch? When people bring up, I know a lot of heavy metal guys, they don't like corny heavy metal, I guess. But isn't that what makes metal kind of cool? Is that it's kind of corny, man. No, skulls and dragons and guys jumping around and flames and long hair and swords and dungeons and dragons and aliens and warriors and gangsters. It sounds all pretty silly to me. You know what I'm saying? What isn't silly or theatrical about hard rock and heavy metal? Most people know me from my childhood. I saw my brother Aaron in the chat. A lot of my people that I grew up with remember me from hip hop and rap music. All these years later, I never noticed how corny and how silly it was. But that's what kind of made it cool to some degree. Snoop Doggy 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 Dog. That's not corny. I couldn't think of anything, I couldn't think of anything more cornier than that. The Grave Diggers and all that. You know what I mean? It's corny as a motherfucker. It's silly as shit. Humpty Hump, the Humpty Dance, and the Grave Diggers, and the Killers, and the Gangsters. It's all pretty silly now. And same thing, mushroom heads and slip knots and sepsises. We were at the club the other day. The guy goes, man, that's pretty silly, huh? Sepsis. I said, it absolutely is. He goes, how come you guys named yourself Sepsis? That's so silly. I said, because it's heavy metal. It's corny. It's theatrical. It's like Grave Diggers and Wu-Tang Clan and Cannibal Corpse and the Butcher Babies and Anthrax and Biohazard and the new kids on the block and now the old guys on the block. It's all just fucking entertainment, man. It's all just some of my earliest experiences with heavy metal and rock and roll, and the reason was why I wanted to get into it, was like WWF and WCW and WWE, and the pyro and the entrance music and the lights and the wardrobes and the fashion and the moves and the silliness of the whole thing. The whole thing's absolutely ridiculous. So that's what it's about. It's about having a good time, It's about not giving a shit, and just having a good time. And it's like, nobody bats an eye when it's Halloween. Everybody puts on a crazy looking costume. They all make fucking weird noises. And then people wake up the next day and they get on with their lives. That's heavy metal and rock and roll. Of course it's fucking silly. And it takes a lot of work getting this fucking silly. It takes a lot of work getting silly to serious. Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. And thank you, Philip, also. That's right. So, Sean, we only did it so it was Google searchable. You know what I mean? Gwar. I love Gwar. You want to know why I love Gwar? Because our producer, Mr. Glenn Robinson, produced a Gwar album. And I believe that same album was nominated for a Grammy. So that's a cool sepsis. That's really good sepsis lore, everybody. Gwar released an album that was nominated for a Grammy. That album was engineered and produced by our producer, Mr. Glenn Robinson himself. A little sepsis lore for you. See? We're all close here somehow. If you ever wondered why our music was so loud, that's why. The pageantry of pro wrestling is a big influence. That's what I mean. Think of all the different costumes and all the different, plays on tradition and heritage and different things like that in wrestling in WCW, like growing up. That was my first experience with hard rock and metal in the genre. I didn't grow up in a home where they played a lot of rock and roll or a lot of heavy metal. So most of the hard rock and heavy metal that I experienced growing up was on the radio or it was on wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? WrestleMania, one of my friends would get, fucking SummerSlam or something like that, That's how we experienced it. I remember when they come in the intros and in the entrances for the wrestlers. That's when I kind of, fell in love with hard rock and heavy metal. And another thing, I think I'm going to split after this. I was going to do another article. But if you guys are coming to Swarmy Fest, and I hope, I don't know if Aaron can go, but I'm hoping, I don't know if Aaron is still in the chat. Somebody tag him. But if Aaron's still in the chat, I hope I can get Aaron to go to Swarmy Fest this year. Because he hasn't been. I got to get him over there. But I appreciate you coming through and chatting with me. Also, Scott and Blog. Oh, cool. No, he's still here. Oh, awesome. So, yeah, we do, every year I do this, it's kind of a special show. It's Swarmy Fest. It's a local show. It's a local rock and roll show. But the purpose of the show really is to introduce my friends and my family and people that know me, is to introduce them, sometimes reintroduce them to the bands and the musicians in their own neighborhood, and to show my friends and my family and people who may not know what I do and people who may not have the opportunity to be in the hard rock or metal scene or the local music scene. I'm trying really hard to encourage my friends this year to come out to Lowell and come to the 3rd annual Swarmy Fest. This is our 3rd time doing it. The whole purpose is to promote discovery and learning about the musicians that are playing in your region, in your backyard. We also team up and partner up with all local businesses around New Hampshire, around New England, and we just promote culture and music, um, and basically helping people discover musicians and artists and local owned businesses. And we all come together. We do it once a year. It really it's a 3-day weekend, but all of our friends and fans from all over the country, they fly in, they bus in, members of our gaming community, staff members from across the country. We have a lot of different staff members and people that are part of our organization and part of the Swarm. This is the time of year where we all come together, and my band, Sepsis, Melissa, myself, Hot Sauce, and Zach, and everybody, we host this annual party. And this year it's going to be in Lowell. We've got 8 amazing bands from around the region. They're from all over, from Connecticut, from New Hampshire, Massachusetts. We get everybody in the room. We eat, we play, we hang out. So it's all brought to you by my friends at Legion of Solace and BPS Records, NH Guitars, and a lot of my friends that are just in the scene trying to keep live music going. And I really hope that I can encourage as many of you as possible to come out and just check out this group of talented, dedicated individuals that live in your neighborhood. They put a ton of work into this. They sound great. And these are some of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. And I think it would be crazy if you guys couldn't come out and experience it. They're all very different bands, a lot of different entities and people to support. So come out, make some friends. If you're already a friend of mine, come out and connect with me. Come and hang out with me. Spend some time with me. I ain't seen you in a while. Come out and support some bands. Talk some shit. Talk some music. We'll talk about Diddy tomorrow. Yeah, I saw Diddy was scooped up by the feds. It's music. We could talk about it. You guys have a great night. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to go get stoned and play video games with my brothers. I'll see you tomorrow on another episode of William versus the World.